Alrighty boys, what's going on? My name is Garen Baba. How y'all doing today? So in today's video, we are going to be going over my Area Suppression Sharen build. I made this build pretty much like day one of her coming out, but I've been trying to make sure that the build was as best as I can make it for this video. And so in today's video, we are going to be going over weapon synergy as well as your reactor, as well as external components, and we're also going to be going into your mods and everything that you'll need to be able to run this build. But with that being out of the way, the goal for this build was to be able to use area suppression as much as possible, and I feel like I did accomplish that, as well as not being super squishy. We're still kind of squishy, but it's not too bad now. I feel like I've gotten it to the point where it's not too bad. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So for our weapon, we are going to be using Blue Beetle. The reason why we are using Blue Beetle is because the unique ability called Arcane Wave makes it so that when we use a fusion skill, it will actually boost our skill critical rate by at max 115%. It starts out at 35% and it incrementally goes up to by 20% every time you upgrade the unique ability, but it does cap out at 115%. This build is going to be focusing on a lot of skill cooldown as well as a lot of crit rate and crit damage. So those are going to be kind of the important things that you're going to be going with this build. So next up, let's go over our reactor. So for our reactor, we're going to want to go with scout rifle weapon mounted. If you guys didn't know, in Season 2, they did change the mountings for ultimate reactors. So now, instead of it being specifically Blue Beetle, it's now just scout rifle in general. You do want to go with fusion. You do want to go with fusion reactor. The reason why is because we are going to be getting a little bit of more damage out of it for cutoff beam as well as area suppression being a fusion skill. So you can use dimension if you have it, but I recommend going with fusion just because excuse me, just because you do get that added extra boost to your fusion skills. If you guys can see the numbers, 28,000 and 28,000 for cutoff beam and area suppression. And then also for your traits, I recommend going with skill crit rate and skill crit damage. But if you can't get skill crit rate, then you can go with skill crit damage. When you have your Blue Beetle like fully maximized, or the weapon, the unique weapon ability fully maximized, then you're going to be getting like 115% increased skill critical hit like all the time. Just because, excuse me, because this is a skill build, you're going to be using area suppression a lot more than you actually shooting your guns. The only time you're really going to be shooting your guns is if you're fighting a final boss. Alrighty, so now let's talk about our component set. So for the component set that I was using Supernova, which drops off Executioner. This was the area that I had a little bit of trouble in just because I wasn't really sure what would work the best with Ultimate Sharen, with area suppression, and ultimately I had settled down with Supernova just because we do get some pretty decent amount of survivability or defense from this set. Now, another set that you can also go with, and this is something I'm going to be showing in the footage, is that you can also go with the two-piece set, which is going to be giving us the two set effects of each set. You can go with the Hunter set, which is going to give you some more skill cooldown. Hunter set drops off the new Void Vessel dungeon, so getting that is going to be a little challenging. I've been trying to get a pretty good roll on my auxiliary and sensor, which is what you want to go with for your Hunter. And then Supernova, you want to go with memory and your the last one. I forget the name of the last one. That's what you want to go with. And then for your sensor, make sure you go with max MP and MP recovery in combat. This is just to give you a little bit of resource generation while you're still in combat. Usually fights don't last that long for it to really matter. And so what I would say is prioritize things like max HP, max MP, defense, and then if you want to go with max shield, go for it. If you don't want to, because this is a dungeon build, we don't really have to worry about resistances too much, so it's really hard for me to say what really to go with, except for just going for stuff that boosts your stats, like your survivability and your MP. So that's really what I have to say about the component set. Like I said, this one was the most challenging, but I ended up just settling down with Supernova just because we are getting the extra electric power modifier. We are getting the thunderbolts that happen when you do is it a fusion skill, or is it just when you electrocute in general? I can't remember, but yeah, that's the components. So last but certainly not least, which is going to be our modules. So of course we're running Area Suppression. I'm running Short Sword, but if you're someone who likes mid-air maneuvering, run mid-air maneuvering. I'm not a mid-air maneuvering fan, so take that as you will. We're also running increased HP, increased defense for some survivability. We're also running focus on fusion and focus on electric as well. We're running MP conversion. The thing that sucks about MP conversion is that it does decrease our max MP, but it gives us a lot of skill cooldown, which is what we're going for. We're also running nimble fingers. That is going to also increase it is going to decrease our cooldown, is what I'm trying to say. Then we're also running skill concentration, skill insight, and then front lines for some skill crit rate and skill crit damage. The nice part about Ultimate Sharen is that she does come with 3 of the upward arrow polarities, and because we're going to be using all of those right off the gate, you can actually save quite a few catalysts by using this. And then she also comes with one of the shurikens as well, which we are going to be using for focus on electric. And then we're running multi-talented. Basically what this does is when we use a dimensional skill, it's actually going to give us some skill cooldown. I think it's like 24% or something like that. And then when we're using a fusion skill, it makes it so that we actually get a reduction in our skill cost. I will say right off the bat, if you want to forego some survivability, you can remove increased defense and then go with dangerous ambush. This is going to increase your damage output because of the fact that you're going to be in and out of stealth. Enemies aren't going to be targeting you, which means that you are actually going to be able to get some more damage out of this build. So I would get rid of increased defense and go with dangerous ambush, but like I said, you are playing a little bit riskier. If you're running the 2-piece Hunter set and then 2-piece Supernova set, so again, 2-piece, you want to go with Auxiliary and then, the Sensor for Hunter, you should be able to get some more defense out of it, but other than that, I don't really recommend it, especially if you're using it solo, just because enemies do a lot of damage, especially in invasion missions. I did test this build out in 400% dungeon solo, invasion mission solo, and also just regular dungeon solo and void vessel solo, and this build did pretty well. Honestly, this build damage wise did pretty good. The only thing that, like I said, to note is that you are going to be a little bit on the squishier side, and most of the time I was able to kill packs relatively quickly to where I didn't feel like dangerous ambush was needed. But if you want that added extra damage, you can 100% go with dangerous ambush instead of increased defense, and that will make it so that you can put more damage. Alrighty guys, so that is the build. Let me know how I did in the comment section. I know that I probably am doing things a little bit differently. That's just because I like survivability, so I tried to prioritize some survivability. And I'm also not really much of a build person. Anyone who's been subscribed to my channel for quite a bit, you guys know that I'm not really much of a build creator. So this one was a first for me, and I don't know how I did. I feel like I did pretty well based off of my own experience playing this build and just kind of running it myself. So let me know in the comments below how you guys felt about the build, or if there's anything that you would personally change. Like I said before, I kind of tailored this build a little bit to me with things like increased defense instead of running dangerous ambush, and then running the Supernova set. Oh, I'm sorry. I also forgot to show you my Ironheart reinforcement, which I will show right about here. Alrighty guys, so this is the inversion reinforcement that I'm running currently right now. I'm running biodensity augmentation, selective cellular stimulation, and then photon stacking. The first two are for survivability. The third one is for our what's it called? Voltia. It's for Voltia, so I can run around with Voltia. So keep that in mind. You don't have to run these. These are personal. Another good one would be Arcade Boost, which is in the seasonal column, and it's the 4th ability, but you need like 3 3 energy to unlock it. But I would run that instead of selective cellular, whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, guys, so that is it for the video. Let me know how I did in the comment section. Like I said, I'm not really much of a build person. I'm more of a bronze over brains kind of guy. I usually just follow other people's guides and call it a day, but I felt like because Ultimate Sharen, or Sharen at least, is my main descendant, excuse me, because Sharen is my main descendant, I felt like it was necessary for me to make my own build for this. And also the gameplay footage you guys are seeing is earlier gameplay footage. This is like the very earliest of the build. This is like when I was still like working on it. So this was not the best right now. I think at this point in time, I don't think I had multi-talented. I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't think I had multi-talented on. But either way, guys, but that's it for the video. Let me know how you guys liked it in the comment section, and let me know what you guys would have done differently. But with that being said, guys, my name is Garen Belmont, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.